Welcome to Overwatch. Welcome to another episode of Coaching the Many. Today, we're going to be doing something a little bit differently. I've been asking for VODs without SRs linked to them for a little bit. And we sort of have one here by a long-time sub Missile Mage. As you can see, his name is written right here. Playing on the Zen. He mentioned it in the email that he'd actually gone through this video himself, taken a look at it himself. And spotted some movement mistakes, but he wanted to know if there was anything that he was sort of missing, and he mentioned feeling very low impact, which is kind of I find that quite difficult to believe with a Zenyatta, but we'll see. It might just be the enemy team completely throws, and so he does nothing, or he might just be underestimating how much he's actually contributing. This is also going to be a little bit of Guess My SR, so yeah. And hey, we start right at the opening of the gate. So let's take a look at our team comp. Let's think about our team comp and our place in it. Naturally, Zen Ana, very strong right now. It's pretty much the go-to support that I always recommend. Very, very all-round good, solid, lot of healing output from Ana, a lot of utility out of Zenyatta, some extra damage, and some good ults that you can sort of use to win fights. Primarily, our healing is going to be like... We can help look after the Widow. That's going to be a big part of our job, I think. The Ana has to more focus on the Hog Reaser. You can also just help keep the soldier alive. We should be able to get Transcendences fairly fast, and also we can help out with any barrier wars. Now, we haven't seen the enemy team yet, but the enemy team has kind of an unusual comp, so let's see how we react to it when we get to it. I like the safety coming out here. Don't like that movement. Like, already, straight away. This is nitpicky as hell. It's nitpicky as hell, but like, the Ana's making this mistake as well. If I'm playing Hanamura, I will always, without fail, go this way, and then go this way, and then push out this way. Right? Like, I will always go to this wall, and then hug this corner with the tanks in front of me, which is very important. The tanks will be in front of me. The issue here is, like, if they have someone watching the spawn, if they have like a Widow or a Hanzo watching the spawn, or they have a Sonic Arrow, or they have something like that, and you just go straight out, and the support gets blown up, well, then your team's already behind 15 seconds or whatever. It sets the game on a bad tone. There's no good reason for you to be the first one to contest stuff. If you send the tanks forward first, the Widowmaker or whatever will generally shoot the tanks. Then as you come around the corner, you've got a tank body blocking for you, and you can start contesting the Widow. You can put Discord Orbs out, all that kind of stuff. It's minor, but it will save you, like, in 1 in 5 games. If you get your head blown off and that stops happening, great, easy to do. Okay. And, like, even this feels greedy to... Even this feels greedy to me. My priority is, especially as Zenyatta, is generally to get to this corner and then sort of get around to over here. Because then you can use the large health pack over here and feel safer. You also have the main tanks in front of you. When you're out here like this, you are vulnerable to stuff like Widowmakers popping up, Hanzos popping up, and firing off the shots. And you can't contest that as well as they can kill you. So you've got to sort of respect the fact that this can happen. Right? Always assume that this is going to happen, because it will. And when you start making the assumption that it's going to happen, you can actually start sort of figuring out what's safe and what isn't. Luckily, your team does punish him, the Rodog gets a great hook, and the Orisa finishes it off. Your team is now down healing, it's down damage. Luckily, you respawn faster, but oh, you've lost the Orisa. Let's try and get heal on that Ana. Good. Good start. Good. Taking this a little bit wide. Okay, so the enemy swapped off the Hanzo. They have a Mei as well, which we're going to talk about in a second. In general, like, when you have a situation like this, especially when you see the Reinhardt, right? The Reinhardt is a dead giveaway. When your team's running a Rusa Hog and you see a Reinhardt, you go, ho, 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 free win, boys. Especially if they don't have a Zarya. Like... And this is why looking at the enemy team comp and, like, figuring out what your strategy is going to be, because we are now past the 3:45 mark. We can see what the enemy team is running, so we can figure out what we're going to do. Let's take stock as a Zenyatta. Like, what is our job here? Well, we can actually help against Mei Blizzard. We can block that pretty effectively. As long as people are on 200 hit points, Mei can't one-shot them. You can actually body block her shots as well, which is always a fun thing to do, I find. We can also stop the soldier ult, or the hands of ult as it was before. Reinhardt, we're kind of iffy on blocking, but if he gets a good Earth Shadow, we can deny that. Other than that, we can make Roadhog's life a nightmare. But the big thing here is this tank lineup that I see immediately. Rein, Roadhog. They cannot stop you just setting up here and just shooting this Reinhardt barrier all goddamn day. And then the reason why I don't like this is, like, there's no need for us to be this, especially like this far around. We want to pressure the Reinhardt, but once we start getting out into the middle here, again, you consider like the enemy sightlines. We've already seen the hands on the Mei's died, which is great news. The soldiers just kill one of yours. If you're out here in the middle, again, it's just that one-shot potential that always makes me a bit nervous. So yeah, we want to be playing the corner. Now that we've got a barrier, now we have a barrier, now we can start doing things. Now people are body blocking for us. Now we can start using that space and moving into that space. It's sort of the uncontested ground that is the scary part. So it's always just making sure that there's tanks occupying that, there's barriers between you and the enemy, and that you're thinking about, like, you're making the consideration that the enemy is able to land a shot on you, or that there is a chance that you can just explode if you just take a wrong step. Actually in a really good place here, though. We've managed to build up a lot of ult charge, taken the point, team slowly whittled them down. Everything's going great. We didn't have any issues with the Mei, because the Widowmaker took her out, I think, nice and early. If the Widowmaker didn't, then things get tricky, but with Hog Risa, you can actually blow through a Mei wall, and this is a personal bugbear of mine, but my god, is it a huge bugbear. It's so frustrating. So frustrating. When Mei puts up a wall, right, Mei wall is 4 blocks. It's 4 big old blocks, right? It looks like this. Each of these have 400 hit points. It's not much. It is actually not that much, right? They're quite big and chunky. You can hit them. Roadhog does like, what, 100? Like, almost probably... No, he does 200 damage. You can do 200 damage with a single shot, I think. 2 shots from Roadhog point blank will knock one down. It takes nothing to blow them away. So if there is a Mei wall blocking you, and you have like a Hog and a Risa, Zen, anything high damage, just shoot the wall. It kills it. It kills it so quickly, and then you can do things through it. The amount of people that just sort of freak out and go, oh, it's an impenetrable wall! It really isn't. So yeah, you can see how quickly Hog got through it. Now, hey, look, you can support. You need to get a lot of value off this. I understand why. Okay, let's talk about this. I understand why it was done, but I think it was a little unnecessary. Like, we underestimated a number of things. The Orisa does a good job of just backing away, and I think we're, like, mentally in, oh my god, panic mode. Like, oh god, the Orisa's cut off, we need to get healing to our stat. Oh, I don't do that much healing. First, Orisa can take Rein charges pretty well. So it's even like the Rein charge that sort of makes us panic and want to engage super hard with the trance. And I get the feeling like we wanted a really aggressive counter engage. Because Hog used his ult, I'm guessing, in previous fight, yeah, it's just not going to be enough here. The rest of your team does fail you a little bit here, but that's just part and parcel of having a Widow, is that she isn't going to just follow you into, like, face plant into the enemy team, which is kind of what you want to happen right now. And as a result, this just becomes like a little bit of, oh, I'm really hoping a lot of good happens here, and I think you could have just shot into this Reinhardt, and you guys are still in a great position. This is something I do as well, so, like, I'm not going to, like, go, oh my god, how could you do this? It's just, I see what you were going for, but now you've just given up a huge amount of momentum and value for your team. And that's the danger of playing Zen, right? Kind of forgot we had an Orisa, can't really chase it down. The Orisa, like, could hold, you have Roadhog if you can land the hook, but it's more like the Widow that's a problem in that case. It's now a Reaper. Well, now you can nuzzle into their faces. Our priority now needs to be, we need an ult. Quick. We're probably going to lose the next fight. Bit slow on the healing there. Just, like, minor thing, any support should be doing this. I'm going to turn the volume up to max as well, just to see if I can hear it. So Ruroar's low, you can see he's critical. We fire off the shot, and then we sort of go in for another shot, okay. And And they were still shooting. Like, you saw that he was critical. And you can even hear the damage sound that Ruraw makes going, ugh! Hear that noise? That, ugh! Very sensitive to those noises. Very, very, very sensitive to those noises as a support player. It's very important that you can generally try and hear those because it's just a good indicator of, oh, that person's taking damage. I need to check the target. I need to check my heal buddy. Because here's the annoying thing. If you started healing him immediately, you'll probably got an extra 100 healing. Because as it is now, the Ana's just run in and stolen all the healing from you. And as a result, you're going to get less charge. The Ana's already charged. It's kind of going into nothing. Yeah, just work on the barrier. Like, they cannot contest you. Okay, smash it. Got Reaper. See how quickly it goes down? You might just have to let this go. That's good damage. Nice. I like it. Nice. It's actually okay. Your team should probably pull out and not use anything. Just regroup. Keep pressuring and regroup while you and Rodog come back. That's a nice start. Still probably not going to be great for your team. And honestly, it's probably going to be meaningless in the long term. Reaper's going a bit ham. Reaper might be feeding. Reaper is feeding. Like, yeah. Nice, okay. Very nice. Good shit.
I've got you in my sights. Tranquility.
Okay. That was a decision. Not a fan of that one. Okay, and it's over. I like what we're doing here, though. I actually don't like the suicide here. We'll talk about how you've done the suicide here. There's actually a better way to do it. Could have already stayed with the Ana a bit longer. The thing, like, okay, first things first. The Reaper dies. The soldier goes on this insane flank as well, which is nuts to me. This is a great start. And I think you even notice it at a split second. You can see it down in the bottom left, right beneath me. Look at him. He's low. He's actually too low. I would have probably just fired off this right click and then turned and checked behind me, but okay, fine. This is where I'm like, ooh. This is just based on like, how confident do you feel in your team? And I would say the correct move here is just to let them, like, just to lose to this. The reason why it isn't quite straightforward. It isn't quite like, oh, well, where it made you a disadvantage. It's that you have no great way of winning this encounter. And what I mean by that is Reaper's still on the way back. Soldier's gone. So that's left you with Orisa and Roadhog. Nanovisor can probably do a lot, but you can block it. Okay, fair enough. The May's back, and, well, she's killed one of yours. She's going to come back in and probably be able to stall the point. These guys are going to come back and be able to sort of contest the point. And by the time that you've rotated through everything, it's still probably in a losing position. But you can't go for this. There is a chance you win it, especially if it is a soldier who has to come contest. I think the Ana fucked up there. That's the Ana's fault. There's, like, I'm guessing she tried to make this jump, but was getting frozen by the May. I'm guessing May came up on the May wall behind, and then came in this way. So she's just, ended up dropping down. That's sort of on the Ana. There's not much you can do about that at all. And then at this point, like, you are done. Like, this fight is over. Ruraw, this is not a good ult. This is a bad bongo. But I'm guessing you just didn't know what was going on behind you. Which happens often. At this moment, we now mentally change into, like, okay, this fight is over. What is the best thing I can do right now? Backing away is definitely one option to, like, give yourself a little bit of space and try and get damage in that way. That's fine. What I'd say is don't back any further away from this. Just do damage, do damage, do damage. And, like, put orbs on the Reaper and stuff like that. And try, like, all you're trying to do is milk as much ultimate charge as humanly possible. And it's this backing away that I don't like. You want to now die and regroup with your team. So I'd say stay here and just keep shooting at stuff. Put an orb on this Roadhog. Keep shooting at the Zenyatta. Try and get as much damage as possible. And you're not really looking to win. You're just looking to do damage. And if you watch any pro Zenyatta, they spend so much of their time focusing on like outlying and putting out as much damage as they humanly can. They will try and focus as much damage into the enemy as humanly possible. And it's just finding moments and places where you can do that, because then that's going to give you your transcendence faster. And having a fast transcendence means that you can do more with it. It means you're going to be safe if they try and use Blizzard, for example. It means you're going to be safe if they try anything else. And especially if you use Trance and then build up another one in the next fight or during the next fight, that gives your team like a huge momentum swing. Same logic as before. That's a pity. Have we been right-clicking without reload? I think this is the Blizzard you mentioned you walk into. Honestly, it's not that big of a deal. I think the bigger deal here is that you haven't reloaded. It's a very good habit after these right-clicks to just always reload. Because this is kind of the side effect of what happens after. Where you'll find yourself running out of ammo at important times. After almost every single right click, there are very few exceptions, you want to reload. The only exception is if you are actually legitimately shooting at something at the time. So you right click and then left click down the rest of it. Melee would have done the trick. I think we just try and avoid being in that situation in the first place. Reloading a Zen is an important thing to do. Like, again, like, it's small things like this, but it's like, I get that we want to right-click again as quickly as possible, but we're just going to be charging it at this point, and there's no guarantee we're going to do anything with it.
Welcome
Reload, be ready with the next shot. And that would be good. Hey, thank you, P. Lily. Very much appreciated. Still haven't reloaded. And I know for a fact that I've mentioned this to you in the past. He's going to Earth Shatter. Oh, no. Nice. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, God. But we're also doing Guess My SR, so bronze? What? Oh, I love that the Zen runs off it as well. I love that the Zen, the trancing Zen, is not contesting. He is literally immortal. This Reinhardt's also pissing about. I don't know what this Reinhardt's doing. If you are playing the high... Alright, if you are doing this... Okay, first and foremost, clear flag that he wants to do like a drop-down shadow, right? That's 100% what he wants to do. But he's like looking over here. The entire team's already moved in. He's like, yeah, hello! Hi, Reinhardt! Look, the team's on the point. His chance to actually get this Earth Shatter and do it right, it's gone. Oh, the May doesn't even touch. Probably should be with the team. Honestly, actually, no, I think you're correct in your positioning. Like, I don't think you stop here, to be honest. I don't think you... Like, I think you keep going here, but I don't think you cross with the rest of the team. You just stay here. And if they want to fight you, then you can trance. But honestly, they have to contest because you managed to get 2/3 before. Oh no, you got a third before. But they rotate, like, they make this drop really slowly. They have a plan, they just completely fail in the execution. The hog did good, but the enemy team completely messed up. Like, it was a good hog ult. And it was a good use of the hog ult. So the enemy team just, like, as they come through, we're going to wall them and we're going to shatter some people. And your team just runs through. And then a wall comes up and then Ryan jumps down. And then a nano goes off and it's just, like, so confused. Yeah, first bit of actionable coaching, right? Very simple. Right-click, reload. Internalize that. When you right-click, reload. Unless you are, like, literally in combat shooting at something, right-click and reload.
Simple geometry. Simple geometry. Gaze into the iris.
And if you charge and cancel, reload. But be ready to do it. Okay. We have our team lineup. Team lineup is different than the previous one. This is actually a scary team lineup to be a part of. I'm not a big fan of this one. So what's my issue with this team comp? Okay, well, you know, pretty much 4 of them are the same as before, and they're a solid 4. These are good heroes to have. My issue is the Junkrat, and my issue is pretty much just the Junkrat, to be honest with you. The issue I have with Junkrat is that he's gonna have to like really spam his goddamn brains out to be able to get value. If he does and successfully gets Riptires, then he can maybe do a lot. He's actually gonna, you know, be somewhat saved by the enemy team running the Nano Blade if he understands how he can use Riptire to counter Nano Blade, which I'm guessing he doesn't. I'm pinning this at about 2.8, maybe about 2.7 at the moment. And then like the Hanzo's fine. I think Hanzo's great on Hanamura. The Junkrat like leaves a question mark, and the issue I have is you have no hit scan, you have no like good kill confirms. So if Hanzo like tags someone, you can't just like McCree them down. Spoiler alert, I think Hanzo McCree is just the best at the moment. Oh, that barrier damage. They cannot play Reinhardt into this. Like, that is a big advantage you guys have. You see, I would have prioritized here. And it's for weird reasons. It's not that I think that Ruror is in any danger. It's that I'm thinking, man, I need ult charge fast. I really want ult charge. And so you see someone on critical, just throw the orb on them, get that ult charge. You want it, not Ana. Give it to you. Trust in the Zen. Notice the lack of reloading. Notice that we are now out of ammo. Reload. 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 You have one. Okay, there we go. Missile Mage, please, you're killing me. You're just. I've told you about this in the past. I know I have. I'm fine with that. Very unusual thing, right? I know, like, I haven't mentioned it yet, but I'm going to talk about it now. It's our positioning. I generally actually position a lot closer. So if we're playing Ana Zen, I as the Zen will generally be here by this wall. And the Ana will be back where she is now, where pretty much we've been standing. The reason why is because I want good sightlines onto the tanks and onto whatever's happening on the front line. The nice thing about this wall is that you can peel back very easily. So if they do come up, like if there's a Widow or something coming up here, you can very easily just back around the corner and be safe. And if necessary, you can even like swing into the area that's underneath me, the doorway that's like just past this way. You can do that without much issue. And then you could just pop out, right-click the tanks, have easy sightline on getting discords on them, all that kind of stuff. I generally prefer being here. The one consideration to make here is that the Genji has been like getting up here. If the Genji does get up here, you fall further back and you just use this space. The nice part about this, in my mind, is that you keep the Ana and the Zen separate. So if they dive you, the Ana can help you. You're in very clear line of sight of her, so she can just put heal darts into you very easily. And if they dive the Ana, then you can turn and heal her, but they're not killing both of you at the same time. And like if there's a Dragon Blade and he like comes down really hard on one of you, he's not killing both of you at least with a single swipe. I generally, like, this is just a me thing, but I generally feel a little bit anxious when both supports are like this on top of each other. To me, it's like it can be a weakness, especially when it is Zen Ana, because Zen Ana help each other by like sleep darting, killing targets, Ana out healing stuff. You're not like a Brig or a Lucio that can ferry people around or move people around or block. This is frustrating as hell. Like, come on, just get in line of sight. Nice. Reload. Like, this is what I mean by like not being in active combat, because if you reload instead of doing this right click, then you can do the right click as they engage and sort of burst them down, and you know that you then have like a whole right click and all 10 shots to follow up, or however much it costs. You might want to turn to your right here. Just an awareness thing. Like, again, this is sort of the importance of audio cues and sort of thinking about the enemy team and like how this fight is going. So you've been seeing like the Genji's been poking and poking and poking through. Okay, tanks are in a lot of trouble here. Nano boost goes on, so Ruror is fine. And then you can still hear the Genji attacking, and that to me is like, well, Genji's probably like messing about with my Ana. If your Ana can heal uninterrupted, it's almost like a chain effect. It is literally a chain effect where if we're the Zen here and the Ana here and the tanks over here, it's almost like a multiplier for us. Because if Ana dies, then a huge chunk of our healing just falls through. So what we want to make sure is that our Ana can just like safely scope in and heal our tanks, and we can focus on keeping the Ana alive. If we keep the Ana alive, the Ana can keep the tanks alive. Make sense? Makes sense. And like we're much better served for healing the Ana from like the piddly amounts of damage this Genji is able to do. So we can just tunnel in and like turn, check that the Ana's okay. You know, it turns out the Genji changes targets for some reason. But you can kind of hear that there's fighting happening to our right, and that's very concerning to me. And all it takes is turning, putting an orb on the Ana, checking on the Ana, and then if the Genji is just poking from miles away or is not involved, we can turn back. And we know, and there's surety in, okay, Ana's fine. We can then just tunnel damage into the Reinhardt, for example. Nice. Orb. If I had a shot, then orbed. Always orb first. Come on, come on. Oh, how greedy. I imagine this Genji is seething. Please get it. I love the retreat here. That's perfect. The Hanzo actually did a really good thing as well, which is he Dragon Struck the team to deal with this problem. That Genji is probably furious. We've kept pace with the Genji at least, so we're on par. I'd like us to be ahead, but we're on par. I'm bad at recognizing audio cues. Definitely something to work on. Play with a louder volume. Do not play with music. Okay. This is one of those hard moments, yeah. That's a very difficult moment as Zen. And I totally feel what's going on here. Which is, there is no good answer to the threat presented to you, and part of that is not on you. Right? They Earth Shatter, they get a good Earth Shatter, and like, you could trance now. They trance. You could trance now.
Into the unknown.
And the issue here is that the Riptire completely whiffs and does nothing. And I say reroll dying is fine, 2 dying is not, and like Junkrat going for such a high risk play, going for such a high risk Riptire, like he has to get value off of that, and the complete failure to do so. That's the weak link on that fight. Because now, like, even if, at this point, if you trance, you still lose. So I totally appreciate and get, and like, we should be very glad that the Genji, like, is scrubbed here enough to Dragon Blade to kill an Ana and a Zenyatta. Like, or literally actually just the Zen. Like, that's a massive win for us, because we have a problem in the... They have Dragon Blade and Grav, so we need to trance one of those two. In general, my instinct is trance the Grav more often than not and try and survive Dragon Blade as best as possible. Oh look, the new spawn rules. Oh, look at this new spawn rules in effect. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look how fast we respawn. Like, not actually particularly that fast, but we're all back. We're all back and alive. Oh, perfect.
Team up for special attack.
I actually really like that bongo reroll. Good job. Means that their Reinhardt can't push because he will just get his barrier killed and die. Good shit. We are piling on top of each other. They need to just back out. Hopefully they will. Well, hopefully they won't. Let's cheer for Missile Mage a bit. Okay, this is better. This is more typical. So the advantage of, like, one of the big advantages of Hanamura and playing support on Hanamura is how the point itself is laid out. Like, if we disregard, like, the high ground area up here, all right, and we just think about this area on the ground. So if I sketch it, it's going to look like this. And you've got, like, the 2 tunnels into the spawn. And you've got, like, this back wall. And then you've got the spawn back this way, right? And then this is the point itself. And what's nice is we can play... Okay, I fucked this drawing up already. But we can play, like, next to these doors. And anytime you're threatened, you just back up into them. And the one that Ana is by is a safer one, which, honestly, yep, I'm fine with that. Gives her a good sight line across everything. And then we can play here. We have good cover. We're a little bit, like, close to this pillar. I'd like us to pick either this one or on the other side. Generally, like, here, I think is nice. So, yeah, just round that. Oh, we can go high ground as well. I'm actually more than fine with us being up here. Just try and keep in mind, like, this is why I recommend checking, also reload. This is why I always recommend sort of checking when you're playing with an Ana. She's still on the low ground, healing from low ground. Like, I can only tell because I just caught a heal shot coming from low ground. But that means safety, and we always have to think about, like, where do we escape if things go bad? Which way do we go? Safety is not down the stairs. Safety is off the edge, because then Ana can see us and heal us. And if Ana can heal us, we can probably survive just about anything they can throw at us. So safety, if the enemy team, like, suddenly surged forward, safety is not this way, necessarily. But this is fine as they just slowly crawl in. Like, they cannot do this sort of slow push. They've got to be a lot more decisive. Would you say you don't need to right-click as much if you have trance? You're basically feeding the enemy team support ults? No. Right-click will routinely get kills, and it's a more reliable way of dealing damage. So what you're looking for is, like, let's take this instance at the moment. What you're looking to do is, if someone over there has taken damage and you right-click out, if their head is here and you're just firing left clicks, it's like shot, 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 and it's slow, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you do it as a right click, it's like a line of damage. It's like dink, 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 dink. Oh, look, dead. And you're very likely to get a kill. It's just a good way of fishing for kills, and especially as you've got a Junkrat as well, it's like, oh, well, they're going to be taking incidental damage all the time. You can also, like, as a tank pushes in, if you right-click into it, it will just blow the tank away. Reinhardt's and Orisas, especially Orisas, I've noticed, very bad at dealing with right-click. So what they'll do is they'll drop the barrier, and you do barrier damage, but you as Zenyatta, they drop the barrier, you charge, you fire into the barrier with a full charge shot, and that big whack of damage will strip the barrier away, and just people will be able to blast through it. And as long as you're like hitting to the tail end of it, it's very difficult to like react to that sudden massive surge of extra damage. I like that we're using the barrier. Hello, Ruror. Thing to keep in mind here, in this precise moment, that I'm hoping we're keeping in mind, is that, well, if they grab, they're grabbing Ruror. Ruror has Fortify, so he can just walk out of it. And then what? We almost kind of want them to grab Ruror here. No one else is up here. I noticed that we're not healing him. What? We don't have an Orb of Harmony out. That's tilting me. Like, come on. Come on. Look at him. Look at him. He's taking damage. Taking 100 damage. He's on 300 hit points. A charge could kill this man. At least put it on something. Put it on the Roadhog. There we go. Nice. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Read that beautifully. Namely, the nice thing, when, especially when it's like tanks this big, and also the Ana did a great job here of landing the nade. She gets a grenade into it. But with the whole hog going off, it's a narrow corridor, tanks are in there, you keep an eye on the hit points, as long as it doesn't flash critical, you're fine, you just hold on to it, take a moment. And hey, look, we still have trance. Oh, the Hanzo's being a cunt. Don't do that. Don't just, like, it's fine pressing the I need healing button, especially when you're standing in places you can be healed, but don't, like, nuzzle into the Ana going, I need healing! Especially when the Ana's been doing a good job. Look at that Roadhog. Look at that damaged Roadhog. Look at that poor fat boy. Yes, the Ana should be doing it, but the Ana has ult as well. You just want heals. Good barrier damage. Nice. Good anticipation of damage. I love it. Perfect. Look at these. Look at the missing reload. Like right click, reload. This is, again, like, this is actually one of those few instances I think we do the right thing in not reloading, right? You're actively shooting at something. And even then, like, at this moment, we should be reloading. There we go. It's a bit slow. And honestly, we should be considering trancing here. It feels like we miss the... Like, we're waiting for, like, an obvious cue, which we do get. But, like, I'm getting nervous at around... Like, when they get to the point, I'm like, okay, this is danger. Like, we're in a dangerous situation here. People are low, I'm low. And they're committing a lot. Your team kind of lucks out in the Ruror just patiently waited. And honestly, yeah, you can concede a third for this. Hanzo actually does a great job just contesting for a split second. Your team probably could not have played this better if they tried. You might still lose it, but it's more individual failures. The Bastion might be enough. Should be able to retake here. Okay, what went so right for you guys? How can we replicate that? How can we replicate our successes? Namely that your team has the right amount of patience. So, like, they run to point. Your team has massive advantages when it comes to barrier damage. And then everyone just kind of says, okay, yeah. The Ana's nano is garbage. That Reinhardt can't do anything with that. And everyone just gives them space. Like, yep, let them have the space. Rurok gets a great ult off as well. That's actually a really nice bongo placement because you're hitting everyone on the point, but it's still on high ground. You can go and block all the damage. The Blizzard is terrible. Like, it forces Hanzo into spawn, but that's about it. Hanzo can drag him through. I think the only issue I have is our placement after the trance is done. So there's a nice helpful counter on the screen, but it's always a little bit difficult to see. Personally, I use the noise with trance. Listen to it. It like goes and like goes up the notes, up the scale. And if you like get used to the sound of Transcendence, you can sort of pick out when it's ending just by audio cue alone. And you just want to like come out here or like behind a wall. So what I generally try and do with Transcendence, at least my mentality with Transcendence is, I'm immortal. Ah, look at me, look at me, look at me. I'm in your face. Ah, woo, ah, woo, ah. Like, and generally I'll like get in front of like the Reinhardt, the Diva, and just like dance back and forward a little bit just to be annoying as hell and like block vision and try and block damage and just be, yeah, I'm everywhere. And then when it starts running out, I will frickin' skedaddle out of there and try and find somewhere behind a wall or behind somewhere safe. And that's generally at like the 2-second mark, right? About when it's ending. So yeah, we trance, okay, get in, block, 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 be in the Reinhardt's face, and then at about this point, back it out, get to safety, like behind the wall back here, or maybe behind this one. I'd say behind the one back there is fine. And like we start a retreat, but it's just too late, and this is kind of the wages of that failed retreat. You might ask, like, what does it matter? Well, Zen can just blow people up. You can get a headshot, completely change the fight. You might actually be better swapping to Lucio during the respawn here. Just as like a minor thing. I think you're fine getting away with it, but it's still it's like a little bit touch and go. If they had like anything running interference, you'd be in trouble. Don't be afraid to just swap Lucio. Run out of spawn. Be on the point, be annoying, and then literally go back to spawn. Even if you get like 20-30% ult, go back to spawn, swap Zen again. Especially if the enemy team is swapping too. I don't have Genji, they got one now. Yeah, we don't have, like, we didn't have to save our trances for anything either, which is always a bonus. Good. Shot once or twice more into that than we needed to. Good, just... This positioning I don't like. Corridors of fire. This is safe. Look how safe this is. Look how good we feel when we're stood here. Why am I safe? How am I safe? Well, I can walk backwards. Should the enemy walk across the bridge? Yeah, we can just walk backwards. That's fine. We're also safe if someone pops up here or someone pops up here. Like, we're sort of not completely safe from here, but yeah, I would just like position maybe 1 or 2 steps back. You just want to keep these windows behind this barrier. That's all you're looking to do. The issue with moving around here is, again, like, always think, in my mind, always think worst case scenario. Always, always, always think worst case scenario. The Genji turns, faces you, throws out 3 shurikens, ding, 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 dash, you're dead. That's a big deal. Like, killing Zens is a big deal. And, like, okay, we're scrambling back to try and get into a safer position, but honestly, we were pretty safe where we were, and they couldn't do anything about us here. There's no way this Reinhardt crosses this bridge without losing his barrier. With Orisa, Roadhog, and Zen shooting at him, there is no way his barrier makes it intact. You don't have to respect this guy a single jot. Like, you see this? You see a Reinhardt trying to just face walk into a Roadhog, and Orisa, and a Zenyatta? He's free ult charge. He's free meat for you to just grind into. Roadhog even has an ult, just to make it even funnier. Okay, we're using the pillar a little bit. Like, again, with this position, we seem to be relying on the pillar to save us. I'm always just a little bit wary of the pillar because it kind of leaves you with nowhere to go. That's why I prefer this spot or this spot. So if they just stand here, like, if soldier like visored here and you're stood here, yeah, you probably survive. You'll probably be okay. But it just takes them like running forward, and you can't go anywhere. Like you're stuck behind that pillar. Whereas if you're here, then you can go up. You can go maybe to spawn, but you can generally just go up. If you're here, you can go towards the other spawn, or you can pop back out over here. You have places you can go. We are a bit stood in the middle here, but the danger's kind of passed. Hello, Genji. Should be okay as long as the team doesn't C9, guys. Where was Ruror? Where was our main tank? Our main tank died to Reinhardt. How did our main tank die to Reinhardt? Your team fucked up here. Okay. Ruror. When playing with Ana and Zen, what is the single most important thing? What is the most important thing? Is he here? I swear I saw him earlier. Maybe he's not here anymore. But, yeah. Line of sight. Line of sight. Line of sight, 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 line of sight. The moment he drops down here, he is completely on his own. And the fact that I think he dropped down on this side, or like dropped down and then came inwards, it's just like, yeah, no one can help you there. Like you are 100% committed to this. There, Reinhardt's getting healing. He is not. He dies. And the issue here isn't so much like I've seen people say, like, where's the Ana? The Ana should just still be where she was before, just behind us. The issue here is we should not be the ones contesting the point. The issue here is that we have a Roadhog and an Orisa who could just barrier and sit on the point and not have to worry about this at all, and so circumvent this problem entirely. But instead they decided to go hunt down the Reinhardt without proper support, without proper focus. They just kind of went for it. Enemy team went in, bailed out the Reinhardt, soldier comes up huge. And now no one can do anything. Like, you can't contest that soldier.
Round 2 complete.
Repetition is the path.
So yeah, sightlines. Sightlines! Sightlines! Always. Always with Ana. The way that Hayes mentioned it, like, ages ago with Team UK last year was that, like, literally you can only play in the space that Ana can see. So always make sure your Ana can see. You want to play outside of that, that's suicide.
True self.
And on ranked ladder, yeah, there's leeway. You can, you know, play around a little bit outside of those spaces. Ooh. That's the video. It's not me. Hopefully it's the video, not me. There we go. Oh, 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 oh. Please be the video, not me. Does it fix itself? No, Rurot, Mr. Mage, what have you done? Oh no! Oh god! Well. Yep, it's pretty much dead. They're out from this point on. Let's smooth out towards the end. Smooth out. Okay, it's smoother here. I mean, it looks like your team holds, which is a good thing. It's very strange. Okay, very weird. I guess plat. I would guess mid plat as well. I would guess. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with like 2.8. But we do have some final Ana. And I see at the beginning, yeah, I've made that mistake before, don't worry. I mean, I've uploaded videos to YouTube that were like, you know, 15, 20-minute videos and then had like 60 minutes of just black footage afterwards because I didn't check that, you know, the timeline was clear and there was still like one thing on it. So then Adobe decides, okay, well, you want to encode everything and then 40 minutes of black footage. Again, sightlines. This is like a very personal thing for me, maybe. But like, okay, well, you're running out, you've taken some damage. Moira can probably patch this up, but again, I would still take this route. And even stop here, heal the Mei, heal this, and then let everyone else sort of take the ground. You generally want to just you do want to kind of be behind the Roadhog and use him as like a wall. Because the issue I have with running out here is it's kind of safe here-ish, but there's still like here. Ugh, I'm scared. This is better. I like us to, yeah, just tuck in, tuck in. Ooh! Only thing I'd say there is just make sure you are in the teleporter. If your team is doing the strat, come through the teleporter, come out of it, and then nade, and yeah. Oh god, your team just ruined them twice. Just ruined them absolutely twice. Yeah, this is a good strategy. Like, on this map, Symmetra is freaking great, and this is very difficult to deal with. I actually did one of the 6-deck games we did, we had like massive issues trying to deal with the Symmetra doing this. Because you have to rotate and you have to react to it so quickly to be able to sort of save it. The safety to not get caught by this is to play on the point, but if they're playing like this Mei shit, then they're going to want to play at the choke. And like, how do you dislodge this now? How does this team fight into this one when you got Symmetra already set up as well? It's going to be so difficult. So difficult. So yeah, like, get your guesses in for the SR. People saying 2.5, 2630. I'm saying, let me give like an exact number. I'm saying 2810 is what I'm saying. 2700, 2800, 2750, 2420. That's probably the lowest we've seen. 2420 has been mentioned. 2775, 2624. Actively aggression with actually, and even lower, 23. Ooh. 2354. Missile Mage, put us out of our misery if you have completed your thingamadoos, your placements. I would like to know where you're at, or is it in the email? Maybe it's hidden away in the email. I intentionally like try not to read it. I intentionally tried not to read too much on it. Did you notice any bad habits I'd like to get rid of? That would be great. 2810 is where I placed. Holy shit, boys. Holy... Boom! Boom! I will say I know Missile Mage, and like, I know Missile Mage is around the sort of plat diamond border, so I knew he was probably going to still be around that area. You must have seen it. Nope, it's not in the email. I would show you the email, but it's got like his email on it, and I don't want to just put that on stream. Yeah, it literally is not in there. It's not in the email at all. Pre-recorded? Yeah, 100% pre-recorded. No, the reason why I said 2.8 is because it's a mixture of like the teams. So in general, the way I mentally sort of break down the different ranks is pretty straightforward. So with Plat, when you're in Plat, you generally are starting to see team play come through. Like, you're generally seeing team strategy stuff like Nano Blades, Mei Wall, Earth Shatter, things like what the enemy team was trying to do. But you'll also see them fail to execute it quite a lot. Like, they know what to do, but they don't know how to do it. There's also there's also just a lot of like taking positioning for granted that we were doing. That's kind of a Plat thing to do. And you start getting into Diamond, that starts fading away. People start positioning better. And you'll generally see the strategies execute a lot better. It becomes more about the counterplay rather than like they just messed up the strategy. So that sort of tipped me off that it was Plat. And then it's kind of, yeah, this feels like upper Plat. This doesn't feel like it's lower Plat. So I just 2.8, 2.810 just to round out the number to make it interesting. But holy shit. Holy moly. Okay, nice. Yeah, that was the first Guess My SR. Nailed it. 100% nailed it. We have more emails, though, to get through. I'm going to throw up the intermission screen for about 2 minutes, and then we'll go through another game. So, see you in a couple of minutes' time. BRB. BRB. Give me that music. Give me that no copyright music.